Hey guys, this video is going to be on the CR Encoder error. Now before you guys take any of these steps, make sure you call Ricoh Tech Support, start a case with them. You don't want to avoid any kind of warranties. Also make sure your machine is completely turned off and the power cord from the back is removed. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That's going to be the red R towards the bottom right. Leave us a like, give us some comments, let us know what you guys think about these videos. Today we're going to go over the CR Encoder error, guys. Now this can be applied to the RI1000, 1000X, 2000, and if need be the 4000. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to check where our carriage is at. You can see mine's over towards the right side of the printer. Yours might be towards center of the printer or towards the left. So I'm going to go ahead and just undock my carriage real quick underneath the maintenance station towards this bottom part right here. You're going to see a little piece of plastic. I'm just going to push that counterclockwise until it meets my sensor. That way I can release my carriage. Okay guys, so I'm going to put you guys over here towards the left so you guys can see that my rods and my encoder are fairly clean. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move our carriage left to right. We're going to do that by pushing the center of the carriage back and forth all the way across. What we're feeling for, guys, is any dry spots or anywhere where the carriage might be jamming up or feels like you got too much tension. Okay, we're also going to make sure that there's nothing hitting the carriage. We don't want to hear any weird little taps or that it's grinding against anything. So mine feels really good there, guys. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of cleaning fluid on my cap, and I'm going to cap the bottom of my carriage. I don't want my heads drying up while we're doing all this. Okay, first thing we're going to do, guys, is remove the encoder. So we're going to go ahead and place some shop towels towards the left side of the printer, right underneath the encoder, but above the rods. It's one on the left. We're going to stick one here on the right. And we're going to remove our encoder, check it for any imperfections, any smudges, any ink might have got on there, or some cleaning fluid. No, I'm sorry, some grease while you were doing some kind of maintenance. So let's go ahead and get this released. Okay guys, so the first things we're going to be checking on the encoder, we're going to check there's no damage to that opening right here. So the little opening right there, little rectangle, you want to make sure it doesn't look torn or any damage to it on both sides. We're also going to look at the encoder to make sure there's no dings, scratches, or bent marks on it. And next thing we're going to do is clean it. We're going to get a lint-free wipe. We're going to grab just a tiny little bit of alcohol, guys. You don't want to spray too much on it. And you're going to wrap that around the rod. Around the encoder. So we got alcohol right here. Quick little spray, nothing too much. I'm going to head and wrap it around my encoder. And I'm just going to pull my encoder up past that wipe. So just pull it up. As you guys can see here, I'm not doing this motion. You don't want to bend your encoder by accident. Just give it a couple of wipes there. Make sure if there's any grease on there or any misting or ink that gets removed. Okay, now that that's clean, I'm going to go ahead and put this somewhere nice and safe where nobody's going to step on it or get bent. Okay, I'm going to remove my towels here. And we're going to go ahead and clean our rods. Okay guys, to clean the rods, I'm going to push my carriage as far as I can towards the right. My carriage cap is going to stop it right there, so that should be far enough. I'm going to get a lint-free wipe. I'm going to wrap it around my rod. Wrap it around there, and I'm going to go back and forth on it. I also want to make sure that I get any grease that's building up towards the bearing on that carriage right here. If you see grease build up on there, I'm going to go ahead and get that removed. Or on the edges here towards the end of the rod. Make sure that's removed. I'm also going to clean the top part of my front rod. Okay, now that's clean, guys. I'm going to go ahead and apply some grease on it. You don't want to add too much grease either. You want to do about 5 little pea drop sizes down the rod here. You're going to do about 4 on the front one. And you guys can use one of your little applicators, or you can use a latex glove to smear that around the rods. So I got my glove right here. It's going to go from the inside here, and I'm going to make sure I get that all around the rod. Make sure I get the back of it, the bottom of it, Make sure that grease gets all the way in there. You guys are gonna be able to feel some dry spots as well. If you do, you might need a little bit more grease. Just add a tiny little bit, not too much. I'm gonna get the top portion off my front rod. Now for the front one, you don't gotta go all the way around it, just the top portion of it, because the carriage kind of glides on it like so. Like my thumb is doing, that's how the carriage glides on this. Alright, so that one's greased up. I'm gonna go ahead and push my carriage towards the left. And same process here on the right. Again, I'm gonna get Linfree Wipe. You're gonna clean that up and you're gonna apply some grease to it. Okay guys, so once we got all that done, we're going to move our carriage a couple of times back and forth just to make sure the grease gets into that bearing. And we're going to turn our machine on. If you're still getting the CR encoder error, the next step is going to be to remove that carriage, 50% of it actually, and we're going to go ahead and clean that sensor that's behind the carriage. I'll put you guys over here towards the right side of my printer, and I'm going to show you guys what brackets to remove. So we're going to go ahead first. We are going to put a rod holder on our rods to hold that into place. We're going to get a Phillips head screwdriver, and we're going to remove some brackets here on the right side. Let me get you guys zoomed in. Okay guys, we're going to remove this top bracket right here, this little screw here on the top. Remove that one. Pull that forward. We're going to remove our spring here. We're going to remove our tensioning bracket. That's one silver screw with a little washer on it. Make sure you guys catch that. You don't want it falling inside the machine. And we're going to remove this set screw right here. That's on our rod holder. Okay. Once that's all removed, we're going to make sure that we put a little towel here above your CTO board. Mine's exposed. Yours should have a cover on it. If it doesn't, guys, something on there, some towels. You don't want to get any kind of ink on that board, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and dismount the carriage. We're going to make sure that this little arrow right here matches the arrow of the frame of the machine. On the other hand, I'm going to push it towards the inside of this, pushing that outward. I'm going to pull that rod, not all the way out, just past the carriage a little bit. I'm going to lift the carriage up, and I'm going to push that belt towards the back of the machine, releasing it from the carriage. Okay, now that it's released, I'm going to put my carriage up here on top of my CTO board. And we're going to go ahead and clean the back of that carriage. Get you guys a good view here. There we go. We're going to go ahead and remove this little cover right here. Just pop that out. Now to clean the back of that carriage, again guys, we can use one of the long little swabs, the little blue ones, like this one. We're going to put a little bit of alcohol on the little swab, and we're going to put this into that sensor that's located right here. Now this part has a soft foam here, so it's not going to damage it. Make sure you do kind of feel for it though. There's a flat spot on this one, and that's what you want to put in there, okay? Just going to put a little bit of alcohol on mine, and I'm going to go ahead and put it through this opening right here. I'm just going to shove it in there and get a nice couple of cleans. If you guys really want to get in there and clean it really good, what you guys can do, again, get a clean Linfree wipe. We're going to spray a little bit of alcohol towards the edge. Just tiny little bit. Oops, sorry guys. Tiny little bit on there. And I'm going to put it into that opening on that sensor. So I'm going to go ahead and slide it from the bottom upward. Make sure I get in between that sensor right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and clean that out. Pushing down on it so go back and forth. And then I'm going to pull up on it as I go back and forth. Just kind of wrap it around that sensor. Make sure that's nice and clean. Okay guys, while we're here, you guys can also clean these little bearings right here. If you guys got a little bit of grease inside that bearing or behind it, that looks kind of dirty. Again, you want to grab another towel, another Linfree wipe, and you want to clean the inside of that to remove any built-up grease that you guys might have in there. Just be careful with this bracket here, guys. You don't want to overbend that. Just gonna get your finger in there, get around that bearing, so you guys can see mine's kind of dirty. So I'm just gonna give that a little wipe since it's out here. Okay. Now that we got that cleaned up, guys, we're gonna put this carriage back in. So first thing is put this cover back in. Remember, this cover has these two solid pins. These go towards the right of the carriage, and those openings on the left side, you want to make sure these little tabs here are pushed towards the inside of the carriage and they are locked in. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put our carriage back in. Now this little part right here, that's where the belt goes. Okay guys, remember you gotta get the bottom belt. You're gonna just carefully slide it in there as much as you can. You're gonna bring that carriage downward. We're gonna get our rod here, and we're gonna push it back across our carriage. Make sure you keep your carriage nice and level. You don't want this shifting left or right, because if you do, it's gonna feel like it's jamming up. So try to keep this carriage as level as possible, guys. Now to get this rod in there, I'm gonna make sure that my arrows here are lining up, and I'm gonna make sure that I use my carriage as leverage to move the left side of the rod, just to kind of line it up to that little bracket over there. Push that in, give that a couple of moves. That's in there nice and smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and put my screws back in. First one is gonna be my set screw. That's gonna go inside that opening for this bracket right here, the mounting bracket. If you twist it a little bit down, you'll see where a little hole appears, and that's where that screw goes. Now you guys wanna make sure you don't over tighten this, just give it a little bit of torque. You don't wanna strip it. Next is going to be our spring. It's going to go into a little hook right here. On this mounting bracket, there's a little channel, a little opening. The straight edge of the spring goes on there, and then it rests here on top. I'm going to get my silver screw with a little washer on it. That little guy right there, you guys can see that. It's a little hard to see. And I'm going to get my tensioning bracket or grounding bracket. This one has a little arrow on the front of it. This arrow should be towards the outside, so we should be able to see the arrow, and it's pointing up. We're going to put that on these two little dimples here on the machine. And inside that oval opening, you'll see the hole for that screw. Again, guys, you don't want to over tighten this. Just put that on there. A little bit of torque, not too much. Last but not least, we're going to get our long bracket here. It's going to go onto this pin right here on our rear mounting bracket for the rod. Now, on the front ones, if it doesn't line up, you guys can just hold it here with your thumb a little bit. Move the bottom of this bracket forward a little bit so it lines up to that bottom pin. Once it's in there, you want to push the bottom of this bracket here just to make sure it's hitting our set screw. Once that's checked, we're going to go ahead and put our screw back in. Okay, once the screw's back in, we're going to remove our rod. Again, guys, we're going to get some shop towels and we're going to put it above those two rods because we are going to put our encoder back in. We want to make sure we don't get any grease on it, guys. So there's one here towards the left, one over here on the right, and we're gonna make sure we wash our hands, guys. If they're dirty, you don't want to get any grease again on that encoder. Now, when we put the encoder in, remember, guys, that little corner, that little notch there, needs to go facing down and towards the right of the machine. Just gonna go ahead and guide it in there really carefully. Now, if you guys feel that it touches something behind the carriage, you want to go ahead and pull back out on the encoder and then push it back in slowly. Okay, I'm going to hook it over here towards the right. And then I'm going to hook it over here on the left side. Okay, once that's in place, I'm going to remove my towels. I'm going to turn my machine on and see if we get past that CR encoder error. If you guys still get that CR encoder error, the next thing we're going to look at is going to be the filter sensor located right above the maintenance station. Let me show you guys where that is at. It's going to be this little sensor right here. Okay, guys, we want to make sure we get a clean little swab there and we clean the inside of that sensor. Make sure that's nice and clean. Okay, so once you got this nice and clean, guys, we're gonna turn our machine back on. Now, before you guys clean anything in the machine, guys, please don't forget to turn the machine off, unplug it from the back, okay? So after these steps, you always want to make sure you turn your machine completely off. So after you did all this part of it, turn it off, clean that guy, turn it back on, make sure that everything's working okay. If we got past that CR encoder error, in case we didn't, I'm gonna show you one more thing to look at. And it's going to be that little mounting bracket for that sensor right there. Alright, there we go. So our sensor is right here, guys. This is the little mounting bracket for it right up here. You see me moving that a little bit. Let me get a flat screwdriver so you guys can see that better. See right there, I'm kind of pushing on it. Now, if you're still getting the CR encoder error, guys, you want to go ahead and you want to put your screwdriver in there. It's a flathead. And you want to just bend this bracket towards the back of the machine. You want to give it about 1 millimeter or 2 of spacing between this bracket right here and this larger bracket. And then we're going to go ahead and turn the machine back on, see if we get past the CR encoder error. Now if you guys still can't get past it, it's a couple of things to keep in mind. Now if the CR encoder error it's happening while you're turning your machine off, or while it's doing this little thing over here, it kind of turns on and then goes towards the left, your issue might be that sensor right there. You guys can always go ahead and remove that sensor and clean it out. I'm going to show you guys how to remove it. Now after cleaning it, if you're still getting that CR encoder error while the machine is turning on, you might need to order this sensor right here. I'll put the part number in the description below. Now to pop this out, you're going to push this towards the back of the machine carefully and shift it left to right. And then this little guy here gets unmounted. Okay? Want it to unmount it, guys, we can go ahead and give it a nice little clean in there. Just make sure there's no ink in there or ink mist. Now towards the bottom of it, there's a little clip here. So this little clip here goes first into that bracketing, and then these two little clips here on top are the ones that actually lock it in. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back into that opening. Again, guys, be real careful with this. You don't want to break the sensor. And just kind of shift back and forth a little bit as you push in. That locks back into place. Okay, guys, so after cleaning it again, if you guys are still getting that same CR encoder error while the machine's turning on, and this back and forth motion thing goes towards the left, you most likely need to replace this sensor. If you are getting the CR encoder error while you're printing, guys, it might be an issue with the encoder that we just can't see, or something wrong with the carriage. If that's the case, please, guys, call Ricoh Tech Support, start a case with them. Either way, start a case with them before you do all this. That way you guys get some more troubleshooting tips from them, and then you guys can get some help, have a case going with them, so that way you guys know and they know what parts you have changed, so that way you guys are not running around changing the same thing over and over again. Alright, guys, thank you for joining me today. This was a quick overview on how to get or try to get past the CR encoder error. Thank you guys for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, leave some comments, let us know what you guys think about these videos, and we'll see you guys next time.